Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Roxanne, and this is the Adventure segment of our channel. I am a 5th grade teacher, and today I'm going to talk to you about a chat. What exactly is a chat? Well, it's a reading tool that we use. Okay, a chat is really a piece of paper, fold it and fold it, that becomes a graphic organizer. It does not have to be a piece of paper. I'm going to take you through the steps of what we do. So before we even use a chat, we have gone over how to make annotations when we read fiction and nonfiction. So let's say we're pretty good at it by now, and we did it using this book, Corduroy. And as you can see, I've got all my little annotations sticking out here. So what I would do is I would demonstrate how to fill out the chat. And my students would be taking this down, not on this piece of paper and then use it as an anchor chart, because they will lose it, 5th graders will lose it, but inside their notebook. And I'll give you a little quick picture of how it would be set up, okay? So now they can always refer to it here, because what I do is I don't make big giant poster anchor charts. I will make them digitally, and we will put them in Google Classroom, and then I will, when we're working, I will cast them up onto our smart board, and the kids could tap open. So they've got Google Classroom, they've got the smart board, and they have this. Okay, so we're pretty good at making connections and looking for figurative language or whatever it is we are studying and doing when we annotate. This is for fiction and nonfiction. I just happen to be holding Corduroy as our sample. So when we go to fill out the chat, I demonstrate it first. So what I would do is I would take these annotations that I've made and I would go through each section. So we've got a larger, is this upside down? It is, sorry. We have a larger version of it. So the C are connections that are made throughout the story. The H are any kind of questions that you have, kind that can be answered, like vocabulary questions, or why did the character behave that way, or kind that are more philosophical. And then here is the aha, the things that wowed us. And then here are talking points. Anything else? Can you see that? Sorry. Likes, dislikes, predictions, character traits, figurative language, signposts, whatever. If it's informational text, it could be somehow a fact that you would like to do further research on, whatever. Okay, so now you've got your chat. What I do is I would take out from here and I'd say, connections. Okay, so right away in the very beginning, I connected with a text to text, and then I would put text to text under here, and I would write the connection out. Again, we know how to make meaningful connections at this point. If you're still learning and you want to use this in the lower grades, that's fine too. But I have a rubric with expectations on it, and I show the children. And then of course you can do a student generated rubric, and I will link that in the description below. But getting back to this, so I would write out the text, write out the connection, how it reminded me of another picture book, which would be The Ugly Duckling, because he feels sad and left behind and unwanted because he is different, he's missing his button. And I remember how the ugly duckling felt, and how is that connection meaningful? Well, I understand how the character's feeling, and I'm rooting for the character like I was rooting for the ugly duckling. And I remember the ugly duckling had a really good ending, so I'm hoping that happens with this. Then the students would write down what I wrote down in their notebook, and then I would say, you write down a connection now. And then they would write down the connection. Now again, this is what we are creating so we can use it as a tool to help us when we are on our own independently. And then the next part is something that I had a question about. Well, mine is a question at the very end where I was like, I love Don Freeman's style. Does he have more books like this? And I would write that down. And then the children could put their question down, one that they had. And then next is the aha, the things that wowed me. One of the things that wowed me was I was shocked and surprised that there wasn't a discount on the bear because he was missing a button. And I'm like, I wonder why that didn't happen. And then I put that down, and then a talking point for me. And then the children would put their things that wowed them, and then a talking point here. A talking point for me in this story is a quote where she says, she being Lisa, she says to Corduroy that he is perfect just the way he is, even with his button missing. But she was going to sew it on for him anyway because she thought he'd be more comfortable with his little overalls. And I love that. That's like a character trait, accepting someone and loving them for how they are different. And I would be putting that in, and then I'd have the children add to that. Now, sometimes we call it a chat because on the back, I put the S, and it's what you see. What do you see in your mind's eye? You could do it graffiti style. You could draw stick figures and label it. This is, to me, like a fun part. And you should, even if it's informational text, the students should have that story going on in their mind's eye. All right, now, the ultimate goal for me is to take the chat and to have a giant chat. We sit in a big circle. We share all of our thoughts about the book. I usually have some type of a snack. If it's Wonder, which I usually start off in the beginning, I start off with in the beginning of the year, and that's how I introduce how to do a chat. I would give them gummy bears for being very nice, and I would give them kind bars, and we'd chat and we'd turn and talk, and we'd have this big grand discussion. Now, sometimes independently, I'll have the students do this after an article that they've read or 2 articles that they've read, and they'll fill out the chat. That's what I've been doing with our Newsella articles. If you don't know what Newsella is, I will be doing something about that, but look it up and see if you can get a subscription if your district already hasn't. It's all these amazing articles, news articles, and they grab the children's attention, and they have all kinds of activities already made out and done for you. It's wonderful, but again, I digress. So anyway, this is a chat. You can use it as an alternate assessment. It is amazing. I did not think of it. I first saw it at a workshop that was given by a colleague, and she didn't even think of it. It came from Mailbox magazine many years ago. So I hope you enjoy my little chat about chats. And if you already use it and use it maybe slightly different, could you comment below and let me know? If you have any questions, comment below. If you do use it and you like it or something's not working, would you comment below so I could know and we could sort of communicate? Okay, thank you again for tuning into the adventures of our channel where I take you on my educational journeys or adventures, and you have a good day.